good times. I would go with you half of the way to believe that being ghetto fabulous is our badge and our merit of honor. Until one day, young people, I messed around and saw a long lost episode of MTV Cribs. And on MTV Cribs, I noted Russell Simmons, who is the founder and proprietor of Fat Farm and Fat Farm Enterprises, who's living in a 3-story condominium complex in Manhattan, New York, overlooking Central Park, in which his estate is worth over $29 million. I had to ask myself, young people, if he's so ghetto fabulous, why is it that he didn't stay in Queens? After they left Master P, they went to another man. After they left Russell Simmons, they went to a gentleman by the name of Master P. And Master P is living in a sprawling estate with marble glass and a gold ceiling. And all our generation was able to reiterate is, it's wonderful. It's great to be ghetto fabulous with gold teeth when you got a gold ceiling. But when your ceiling is caving in, it's not so ghetto fabulous. After they left Master P, they went now to a gentleman by the name of Jermaine Dupree. Y'all know who that is. And Jermaine Dupree has more sports cars than Atlanta, Georgia has public modes of transportation. And what it is that I was able to deduce, a class of 2011, is those who celebrate and applaud a ghetto living and a ghetto lifestyle, as soon as they get one platinum album, they move out of the hood. Something is intrinsically wrong to say that the badge of my blackness or the badge of me as a person is based off of me being in the hood. Let alone once I am elevated from the hood, I still have a frozen concept of believing I still belong to the hood. Alright, let me see if I can help some of you in here. Y'all looking at me like you want me to sit down. I will in a minute. So let me see if I can help you. Not too long ago, I went to Barnes and Nobles and I picked up a copy of SoundScan magazine. And in SoundScan magazine, young people, it noted that 87% of those who are consumers of rap and R&B music are suburban youth between the ages of 14 and 17. Now, I did have to consider and conclude that the car that Jermaine Dupree is driving, that the house that Russell Simmons is living in, that the mansion that Master P sports is all being funded by suburban people. That then says to me that they are playing the tune of the ones who are paying the cost. And so in being ghetto fabulous equates then unequivocally to be a sellout. That in order for me to be digested in a larger urban market economy, I have to say, well, upper class people are happy knowing we're glad to be ghetto fabulous. Okay, I see you don't like it, let me talk to you anyway. And so where we find ourselves now is nothing more than millennium sharecropping while we own our own record labels and still don't own the distribution. We gotta get to the place where I really want to be ghetto fabulous to be a modern day MTV Amos and Andy, where I'm waiting on little Billy and little Johnny my coffee. The stewardess said, listen, it's my job to put the cream in the coffee, but it's your job to stir it up. When you go to this next level, but I don't know where you're going. Some of you may be going to college, some of you may be starting your own business, some of you may feel like there's something greater for you to do. I want you to know there's something on the inside of you, but you got to be strong enough to stir it up. I told you how to stir it up. You got to stir it up. You got to read. That's how you stir it up. Just because you graduated from high school don't mean you don't need to open up a book. Every now and then you got to read something. How do I stir it up? You got to stir it up by being nice to people. Because the same people you mean to on the way up, you gonna need them when you find yourself on the way back. You got to stir it up by thanking the people who brought you this far. I'm talking about, see, when gratefulness exists in what you do. If mama or daddy or your guardian cooks for you, see, thankfulness just says thank you. But if you're really grateful, you're going to do the dishes. And so there ought to be something in your work that says, I'm grateful for what was done. And so my pre-commencement address to you today is to don't be ghetto fabulous. There is more inside of you than what you think it is. That you are an unstoppable force. And there is something on the inside of you. You just got to stir it up. You just got to stir it up so you can go to the next level. Commencement simply means that there is a beginning at the end. Winning isn't always finishing first. Sometimes just finishing is winning.
Thank you, Mr. Is the student who also has earned the second highest grade point average throughout his or her four-year high school career. The code salutatory for the class of 2011 is Miss Annika. Their medals, so I'm just going to give them a hug to let them know I'm proud of them. Oh, it's up there in the fours. Good question. The valedictorian is Miss Alicia. The top 10% of the 2011 graduating class. The following students of the class of 2011 represent our top 10% of the senior class. The top 10% is determined by the number of seniors graduating in the Stone Mountain High School class of 2011 with the highest GPAs. saw Luna Garcia, Danica James, Marcus Winston,